Banzai! I'm the Cobra Kai Kid, and welcome to... Cobra Kai Kid. Okay. So, welcome to Cobra Kai Kid. I'm Cobra Kai Kid, and on this channel, we are going to talk everything Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, anything in that universe, because why not? So, a little background about me. I am 16 years old, and as you could probably tell, I wasn't alive when the Karate Kid movies came out. So, when I heard the name Karate Kid, I thought of that Jaden Smith reboot. You know, and Jackie Chan, that's what I thought of. I heard of the original, I saw some stuff, but I don't think I ever really watched it. One day, I was at home, bored, scrolling through YouTube, and then I saw it. Cobra Kai Episode 1. So I said, hey, why not? So I clicked on it, and I fell in love. It was the most beautiful thing ever. I wasn't planning on really liking it that much, even watching the whole thing, but I ended up loving it. And then I rewatched it. Then I rewatched it again, and I just it was like love at first sight. Like it was just that. It was better. It was just better than anything I've ever. I don't know. It was just like the greatest thing to ever happen to me. Other than having my family around, because that's very important. Family's very important. But, other than that, like, Cobra Kai, I'm so thankful that it exists. Because I wasn't even that into Karate Kid, and I saw this series, and I was able to relate to the characters like Miguel and Sam and Robbie, because they're my age, and they go through the same stuff that kids my age really go through. That's what I love about this show. The writers really nailed it with these characters, the teenage characters, because, you have a lot of those films nowadays that don't really portray that, like the teenage characters that well. They'll make the teenage characters a certain way, but really, really nowadays, it's all internet and social media that's really affecting all of us. And, they really nailed it out of the park with that, showing how, cyberbullying, but at the same time, they're not just, shoving it down our throats. Because you have Johnny, who's like, what a bunch of pussies. These geeks hiding behind their computers. You're not going to take shit from these geeks. They're not trying to push a message this is how you handle bullies. No, it's a real situation, and now you're seeing Johnny's way of handling it, which is it's not the typical way a parent wouldn't tell you, or a teacher wouldn't tell you to beat the crap out of them, but Johnny would. And I love how they show that, and they don't just avoid that because they're trying to send a message. No, they're telling the story, and that's the story, but they're taking real life things like cyberbullying, because everything in that show is so real. It could really happen, and it does happen. So, I've experienced it, and that's why I relate to it so much. A lot of pretty much everyone who watched Cobra Kai, the series, came for Johnny, Daniel, and then, Kreese. Me, I didn't even know who they really were. I kind of knew them, so I was a little bit, I had a little bit of knowledge, but I didn't really I didn't know any of the characters. I wasn't invested in any of them, but I actually connected with I love Johnny. Because he's just funny. He's just hilarious. But I really connected with the kids. That was who I connected with, because I was watching it for the first time. And, the writers really got it. They nailed it. I'm going to make a video because I'm a Star Wars fan too. I'm going to make a video probably comparing Cobra Kai to Star Wars, because what Star Wars did when they made their sequels was they told the same story all over again, But with Cobra Kai, they actually continue the story, but at the same time, you could watch it for the first time and understand it. So, I was watching it for the first time. I would like their goal with the Cobra Kai series was to have to make it appealing to the old school fans, you know, to give them something, you know, new and to something to enjoy, you know. But they also were trying to reach a new audience, my generation, which my generation was the generation that liked the Karate Kid. Well, I mean, like my age group, you know, like if you were 16 back in 1984, you liked the Karate Kid, you know. Maybe like well, you know, it was kind of towards that age. But now that it's all these years in the future, you have those kids that grew up and now they're like adults, you know. So now they're familiar with Karate Kid, they're familiar with now Cobra Kai, but they still want to reach that young audience. So, oh my god, it's just genius. They have the adults, you know, who everyone came for, Daniel and Johnny. You know, no one gave a crap about these new characters. They came for Daniel and Johnny. When we came, you know, when the new generation comes, they first attach themselves to the kids because, you know, if it weren't for the kids, you know, Cobra Kai wouldn't be where it is. I'm actually for real, like, because, you know, you have a lot of a young generation who really loves Cobra Kai, you know, and if it weren't for these relatable kids, it wouldn't be the same. Even I think for the older generation, you know, the older generation has even become so attached to the kids. And what's so crazy is when you watch the show, you really become invested in them. So by the time, even if you came for Daniel and Johnny, you know, but when you're watching the show, you start to become invested in Miguel, in Sam, in Hawk, in Dimitri, and Robbie, Aisha, Tori. So by the time, spoilers, in season 2, episode 10, you know, you barely have Daniel and Johnny. They're not really in the episode. You know, they're in at the beginning and the end, but basically the whole episode is that school fight, you know? And even though you don't have Daniel and Johnny there, who are the main characters who obviously you come for, you know, and who you love, these kids represent them, and you're still really invested in these kids to the point where now you care about the kids too, you know? You don't need Daniel and Johnny in that fight because the kids represent them, and you care about the kids too. But at the same time, they still honor the old characters, which, you know, after I watched season 1, it came out in May, I think. Season 1 came out in May, like May 2nd, and I watched in like July because I didn't know about it. I just found out about it in July. So I was a couple months late, but once I found out about it, and once I loved it, once I started watching it, I just kept rewatching it. I was so excited for season 2. And they just knocked it out. The whole series is just so perfect because it's more than karate, you know? Like, you know, Karate Kid, you know, it's literally like if Karate Kid was a series, you know what I mean? Like basically it is Karate Kid like a series, but like if Karate Kid was a series, then you could have gone more into the characters and stuff, but at the same time you would have just had the kids and there was no Mr. Miyagi and stuff. I don't know, but basically the fact that they did this, that it's a series format like this, you know, to really develop all the characters. And, you know, after I watched Cobra Kai a couple times, I knew I had to go watch the movies. Because, you know, to really understand all of it. You know, there were some references that I wouldn't have understood if I hadn't watched the movies. So, I went back, I watched Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and Karate Kid 1 I'd say is my all-time favorite because that's just the classic one. Every time I see Johnny on screen, because now all I compare him to is this new Cobra Kai Johnny, so it's weird, but it's like cool. Like I'm like rooting for Johnny too, you know, like And there's some times where, Daniel's not that perfect. And what's so great about this show, they always talk about it, the writers and the cast, what makes this show work. And it really does, because, it's the gray, A lot of these shows nowadays and a lot of these movies, they don't show the true, they don't get into the truth. And what the truth is, no one's ever really bad and no one's ever really good. There's always gray to everyone, and this show, in the beginning, obviously they set it up where Johnny would be kind of the good guy and Daniel would be not the bad, but you kind of dislike him. But then you start to see Daniel's troubles and feel bad for Daniel. But then Johnny does something stupid, and why would you do that, Johnny? They're both everyone, even Miguel. You can see he's a good kid, but then he does some stuff. And Robbie too, he's a good kid, but he does some stuff. Everyone has gray. There's no good guys and bad guys, which is so perfect because it makes the show interesting. It keeps you rooting for someone. It keeps you wondering. It opens the door for more opportunities, because you don't know what to expect. If someone's just completely bad, then you're gonna expect them to do bad stuff. But like if someone's gray, you don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna do something good? Are they gonna do something bad? And when I say gray, that means they're not good or not bad. They're human. They're human. This show really knocks it out of the park because it's very human, and it really dives. It's just so real, and just connecting. Like that first season. Obviously, I love the second season. I love the second season so much because it's more action, more karate. The whole focus is on karate. In the first season, a lot of times it wasn't even on the karate. It was bullying, the school. It was Daniel with his car dealership, like stuff like that, It wasn't even all karate, but they still they have the same messages, the same themes, and it just all works so well. And I just love this show so much because of how relatable it is. And now after, obviously when I first watched the show, I really loved Miguel. Well, today Miguel is still my favorite. Him and Johnny, I can't really. They're both great. I don't know, but once I watched the original Karate Kid movies, then I started becoming investing in the old characters. Like when I watched that season 2 trailer and saw Daniel, Johnny, and Kreese like talking at the mini mart, In the trailer, they showed that clip. I was freaking out. I started bawling my eyes out. Tears of just, oh my god. I was in the movie theater watching the Karate Kid 35th anniversary, and they showed a sneak peek from Cobra Kai of that scene, and I was mind blown. And guess what? None of the new young characters were in it. It was just the older generation, and I'm a young kid who I didn't even grow up with them. But this show, even if you don't watch the Karate Kid movies, the show by itself makes you really connect to Daniel and Johnny. Johnny is just a guy with demons. He didn't have a good life, and now he's trying to figure out what he wants his life to be. Daniel, at the same time, it seems like he has everything, but he really doesn't. He's still struggling with his own family because he may have all this money, he may have a family, but there's still problems going on, and he has no one to look on for advice. Sure, his mom has helped him sometimes, but his mom raised Daniel. She never had the experience of raising a whole family, having like a husband with multiple kids, but Mr. Miyagi, was Daniel's father figure, who always had all the answers for him and really helped him. Like, Daniel, even in the Karate Kid, Daniel was very gray. Very gray. He wasn't a good guy and he wasn't a bad guy. He would do some pretty... He got revenge on Johnny at the Halloween dance, by pouring the water thing on him. That doesn't really show, like, good guy, that he's a good guy. It shows that he's human, and that he has some flaws, which I thought was awesome that they showed that, because once again, it's realistic. But, now you have Daniel, who doesn't have Mr. Miyagi to guide him, and yeah, so they're both going through struggles. And even Kreese, just seeing him in the mix, it's just, now I'm so invested in the old characters that, like, it makes me respect how much the writers honored him. And I can't stop talking about these writers because, oh my god, these writers are just... Josh Heald, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg. Oh my god. Like, just genius. Like you could like, I just... Like, you could see it in the Karate Kid. Like, now that Cobra Kai is out, you could see that there's the story. What I mean by that is, when you watch Karate Kid, and now that you have Cobra Kai, you could see how they got the idea for Cobra Kai, because there's things in Karate Kid that, could be explored more in this new generation, as they do now. It continues the story perfectly. But the fact that they actually came up with that, they came up with this whole universe, is really mind-blowing. And season 1 was amazing, and season 2 just out of the park. Like, that ending, I didn't love the ending. I actually hated that what happened to Miguel, because I love Miguel so much. I always wish that, like, that they could just, like, kind of extend season 1 and 2 more. Like, I wish the story didn't have to go on. Obviously, it has to go on and all that. But what I mean by that is, like, I didn't want Miguel in the coma. I just wanted them to just do karate. Because, like, no, don't get in the coma, like, until season 5. But, like, no, like, they, like, made him... It's season 2 and he's in the coma. That's crazy, So, like, I don't know. But, like, I'm just so excited for season 3. It's just amazing. And we heard at Comic-Con that Daniel's going back to Okinawa, which definitely... these writers are definitely exploring everything, and I'm 1,000,000% sure that Chosen is gonna be in it from Karate Kid 2, and if Chosen's in it, stickers falling out. Ugh, no, I gotta try and get that back in. Oh my god, these are like just stickers. Oh my god. Okay, but Chosen from Karate Kid 2, probably still lives in Okinawa, so Daniel goes back there to visit, because I think what this whole season 3 is going to be about I think this is what they said in the interview. They said that season 3 is kind of the aftermath of the events of season 2, I don't know if it picks up right where season 2 left off. I don't think it will. I think there will be a little time. I'm not really sure. I don't know how comas usually work. You could be in a coma for like a year. But, like, what about the surgery? Does Miguel need surgery? Yeah, I don't know. But no, I guess it picks up right where it left off. But yeah, but I think Daniel is obviously going to go to Okinawa to find his balance again. Because to every sorry, to everyone, to Daniel, to Johnny, to Sam, to Robbie, everyone feels that it's their fault. You know, even not Tori, she's evil. But Daniel thinks it's his fault. He thought he was doing the right thing, but he didn't. You know, Johnny now put his students in a situation where, you know, Kreese, Tori, Hawk, they don't care. You know, they're all evil. Sam feels that it's her fault. You know, they all think that it's their fault. So now it's a matter of how are they going to how are they going to respond to that in the next season, you know? Is Robbie going to go back to his like stealing ways now that he doesn't have a Daniel in his life? Or is Robbie going to try to make amends, you know? Is Sam gonna Sam's definitely gonna distance herself from the karate, you know, at first because of how horrible this, you know, because this was never her intention. You know, she's not as, you know, Miguel and Robbie, you know, they're both like tough guys, whatever. But Sam, you know, has always been like the nicest person, and you know, and she's defended herself and whatever. She's defended herself and other people, but you know, if she doesn't want to just do this, you know, if it's gonna be like this. So I think Sam's gonna try and avoid the karate and just only worry about helping Miguel, you know. And then you have Daniel who's going back to Okinawa to maybe like go, you know, back where he was, you know, to just find his balance, remember Mr. Miyagi's teachings, maybe see Chosen, where Chosen has hopefully changed, which I think he will. I don't know. I think he will. Oh my, I just had this thought. What if Daniel and Chosen fought? They probably will. Like, I'm not even kidding. That would be so awesome. That'd be so awesome. And, you know, that would be so awesome. Oh my God. And then now Johnny, you know, it's really tough because, like, Johnny is like a father figure to Miguel. But Johnny's also the father of Robbie, who pushed Miguel off that balcony. How is Johnny still going to take care of Robbie? How is Johnny going to respond to that? I mean, obviously he'll still take care of Robbie, but like still, like, you know what I mean? Miguel's his son. Miguel's basically a son to him too. So Johnny, I don't know. It's just, and Kreese, don't even get me started on Kreese. Kreese has the dojo, and now, you know, him and the kids, they're just gonna do whatever they want. And, you know, Daniel, Johnny, all the other people are not gonna try and stop him because of what happened, you know, at first. You know what I mean? I think, you know, it's not gonna be like this is what's gonna happen. Like, this is what I think is gonna happen, at least, you know. Obviously, it's, you know, a lot of people think Daniel and Johnny are gonna team up, which I very strongly believe, but I don't think it's gonna happen right away because, you know, after, like, you know, Kreese does not have a heart, you know. Even after what happened to Miguel, he was like, oh yeah, Johnny, I told you not to show weakness. He didn't say, oh, I'm very sorry that happened. No, he was like, Johnny, I told you so, you know. So when Kreese, you know, and his students bring chaos and their bad Cobra Kai ways to the valley, Johnny and Daniel are going to ignore it, because they're going to try to ignore it, at least, you know, no matter what, because they're not going to just get involved, because to them it had a lasting impact, like, you know, what happened to Miguel, the whole experience, you know. Kreese is just not human. He doesn't care, you know. But then it's going to eventually come to a point where, okay, we need to stop him. We need to put an end to this, so they'll team up. You know, I think that in the beginning of the season, both men, Johnny and Daniel, will be in their separate ways. Especially if Daniel's going to Okinawa, that's definitely going to be early, you know. They're both going to try and find their balance and try and fix their mistakes, see what went wrong, and just, you know, try and make amends and all that. And then they'll come back at the end and hopefully team up. And now, where Allie plays into all this, it's going to be very interesting. I think she is going to be involved in Miguel's surgery. You know, that was a strong theory. I believe she's going to be involved in that somehow, because she is a doctor, but I don't know how much she's gonna be in the show. I don't think she's gonna be I don't know. I really don't know. I kind of have a feeling. I feel like while Daniel's in Okinawa, she would come in, and then it'd just be Johnny and Daniel, and then no, I mean Johnny and Allie, and then when Daniel comes back, then it makes it complicated. I could even see, because like in episode 9 of each season, or there's in episode 9 of each season, there's always something that comes between them that causes them, or not episode 9, but like, they always, like, there's times where Johnny and Daniel will come together and then something will happen and they're fighting again. I feel like they might have something with Allie, which kind of mirrors the original Karate Kid, how Allie split them, even though Daniel and Johnny were never friends or whatever. Allie kind of like made them like divided. Allie was the reason why they were against each other. So I feel like they'll kind of mirror that, and I don't know. I don't know if she'll be a regular. I think she'll be in, if she's a doctor, like I think she'll be in it a lot. Like you know what I mean? I think she'll be in it a lot. Like, she'll have her scenes with Johnny and Miguel. If she comes in, I think she'll be in it a lot. I don't think they're just gonna give her a cameo. I mean, if Elizabeth Shue's willing to do it, the sticker's falling off and it's giving me real anxiety. Okay, but yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just so excited for Cobra Kai season 3, and a lot of people are like, "Oh no, I can't wait! I can't wait! You have to upload it right now." But like, I'm fine. Because I have 20 episodes, 20 times 30, like 600 or something, I don't know. Like minutes of watch time. I have all of these episodes of Cobra Kai. So, I just watch it, then I rewatch it, and then I watch the Karate Kid movies. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. I re-say the lines, do all that stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay. I want season 3, but no rush, because I know it's going to be amazing. And at the same time, the longer it takes for season 3 to come out, the longer the show will extend. If it just like happens now, then like the show will end quicker. And I want the show to go as long as it will. And these writers obviously have a plan to go to season like 5 or 6 or something, which is insane. I don't know how they're gonna do that, because this literally feels like it could be the final season. Like season 1 ended in a way where it's like, how do you pick up from there? Like obviously it set stuff up, but it was just like I don't know, like it was just so perfect. But then they were able to make season 2 perfect, and now season 3, it's just like how do you keep going with this story? Like obviously they do it, but like I mean, I'm a filmer / screenwriter myself, but I just can't picture how they do this. Like with season 3, how do they still, like, obviously there's a story for season 3, but like I just can't picture a season 5. Well, I mean, I want a season 5, and I could see them doing it, and I want them to do it, but like I just don't know what I would do if I were writing it, because that's how genius they are. They are able to keep telling the story in a way where it's never boring and repetitive, and they're only doing it for money. Some of these movies, they make some of these movies make sequels and reboots just for the money, and they'll keep doing that. They'll keep making sequels and reboots to that movie for the money. But this show really respects and honors the characters, the story, and it's really changed my life. I am a filmer, I am a student, and I have I just have a lot going on, and a lot of times it's very overwhelming and I get very stressed out. But whenever I get stressed out, I try and find that balance. Just like Daniel says, And I think that's very important in karate. It's very important in life. You know, I'll play that music, the Miyagi-Do music, which we'll get to the music in another episode because the music is unbelievable. And while I believe I am probably the biggest fan of Cobra Kai ever, like I'm not like I really just love it that much. I think the music, there's no competition. I am always listening to music. I know the names of like all the soundtracks because the music just it's just so great and beautiful. Oh my god. We'll talk about the music in another episode. That'll be its own thing. But you know, they just nailed it. They just nailed the whole show. And I know I keep saying that, but it's really true. And it's all these themes, the bullying, you know, it really relates the struggles of these characters, you know. It's just because no one ever has it good. No one has it good. If you're a good guy, you don't have it good. If you're a bad guy, you don't have it good. You know, even Kreese, you know, he's a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a bad guy, but he still goes through his struggles, you know. And his struggle was he didn't have a home. He was at what's it called? What's that? What's the name of the home? He was at like a shelter. Yeah, he was at a shelter. No shelter. He was at a shelter, and you know, that shows that he struggles too. And you know, I think in the next season we're definitely going to learn more about him, you know, definitely, because the writers announced that we were going to learn more about the origins of Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. And if Daniel's going back to Okinawa, we definitely know we're getting the origins of Miyagi-Do. But I think with the Cobra Kai aspect, Kreese is going to either talk to Johnny. I think Kreese is going to talk to Johnny. Like, just like how he did when they were in episode 4, I believe it was, when they were like sitting on the bed of of Kreese's room, and then like he was like things like were bad like after Cobra Kai shut down, you know. I think Kreese is gonna talk to him, like Johnny's gonna be like, why are you like this? Why is it no mercy? Why is it strike first? Why can't, you know? And then Kreese like explains to him, you know, it's kind of a heart. It's a true moment, you know. Kreese will explain to him what made him that way. And I think I saw a theory that it was like a kid, you know, was they like, because Kreese we know was he was in the war, he was a soldier, so there was a theory I think where, you know, there was a kid there while Kreese was in war, and he was, you know, Kreese wasn't gonna shoot the kid because he was a kid or whatever, and he showed mercy to that kid, and maybe the kid had a bomb on him and it exploded and killed one of Kreese's friends, you know, like something like that, which a traumatic experience, because it definitely happened, you know, where something in the war, one of Kreese's buddies died or something, and you know, because he showed mercy, there definitely has to be something like that, because, you know, once again, no one's just bad, you know. There's a reason why Kreese is like this, you know. And maybe once we find that out, you know, when you hear that story, if that was true, you know, obviously there, like, Kreese maybe is taking it a little overboard, because like, yeah, that's the army, but in the real world, you don't, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like no mercy and all that, but if you see where it came from, maybe you'll understand, you know, he had these friends in war and they died because he showed mercy. So you feel bad for him, and, you know, so I don't know. I hope they do that. That would be really cool. I'm just super excited. And while we wait for Cobra Kai season 3, let's talk. We're going to talk about season 1, season 2, the Karate Kid movies, what we think is going to happen in season 3. We're just going to talk. So thank you guys for watching so much. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment, share, turn on notifications to never ever miss a video. And until next time, remember, Cobra Kai never dies.